Managing your finances today often means juggling spreadsheets and outdated apps that make you track everything manually, and that can quickly turn into a chore. But Monarch Money makes it much easier by offering a single dashboard that clearly shows your entire financial situation. But do you really need a paid app to help you with budgeting? Let's find out in this Monarch Money review. First, what is Monarch Money? In short, it's a personal finance app that brings all your accounts into one place to track spending, monitor your net worth, and plan ahead. It works as a financial control center. You connect your accounts once, and from then on, it automatically tracks, organizes, and visualizes your money for you. Getting started with the Monarch Money app is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is create a Monarch Money account and then sync all your financial accounts. Before that though, you'll need to sign up. There's only one plan and you can choose either a monthly or yearly subscription. Personally, I chose the 1-year plan since it offers much better long-term savings compared to the monthly option. Plus, I have a link in the description below if you want to get the best possible price when signing up for Monarch Money. Once you have signed up, the next step is connecting all of your financial accounts. No need to worry here because the service uses bank-grade security integrations to connect everything reliably. I'll talk more about Monarch Money security later. For now, let's focus on what it can actually do. And when I say all your financials, I really mean all of them. We're talking checking and savings accounts, credit cards, investment accounts, loans like mortgages or car payments, and even retirement funds. Whatever money-related accounts you have, Monarch Money can bring them all into one place. The process of connecting everything is simple and pretty straightforward and can take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how complex your finances are. Once that's done, the app starts pulling in your transactions and categorizing them automatically. With that set up, let's move on to budgeting. With Monarch Money, you can choose between two approaches. The first is flex budgeting, which simplifies your expenses into 3 categories: fixed, flexible, and non-monthly. It's a straightforward option built around the idea that expenses can vary month to month. Instead of separating groceries, dining, and other categories, you get one flexible budget for variable spending. You can still track everything, but it's all under one limit. Alternatively, you can go more detailed and track expenses by category, assigning each one its own budget, tracking your spending that way. Whichever approach you prefer, Monarch Money gives you plenty of customization options to fine-tune everything. Once your budgets are set, you can start managing daily expenses and recurring payments using transaction rules. This feature lets you automate actions based on specific conditions. I'll give a few examples to illustrate its potential in daily life. For example, you can automatically split recurring bills into different categories, making them easier to manage. Let's say your Comcast bill includes internet, streaming, and cable. You can split it into utilities and entertainment, even assigning custom percentages like 70-30 to have more control over your monthly expenses. And if you want to try it yourself, you can check out Monarch Money using the link below to get a better price. Another use for transaction rules is filtering out financial noise from investment accounts, like internal transfers or sweeps and core account movements. Or let's say you're traveling and want to track how much the whole trip costs, from planning to travel expenses. You can create a rule that tags transactions during a specific time period as something like Italy 2026. You can also include services like Airbnb or Booking.com, making it much easier to review your expenses later. And if you're using a joint account, you can set rules so that grocery runs like trips to Whole Foods are automatically categorized or split into shared expenses, depending on how you set up your rules. Of course, that's just scratching the surface when it comes to collaboration. After all, personal finance isn't always a solo effort. It's often something you manage with a partner. That's why the Monarch Money budgeting app includes strong collaboration features that give you a shared financial view while still keeping some independence. More precisely, you can connect both joint and individual accounts into one shared dashboard while still seeing who owns what. You and your partner have separate logins, but you both see the same overall financial picture. In practice, this means you can track total household spending like rent, groceries, and utilities, and then switch to a personal view to see only your own expenses. It's a much more flexible setup compared to more traditional apps that treat everything as either fully shared or completely separate. Budgeting works the same way. You can create a shared household budget for common expenses while still keeping personal spending categories for each person. There are also smaller collaboration tools that make a big difference. You can tag transactions for your partner to review, mark expenses that need splitting, or track shared costs like trips or big purchases. It cuts down a lot of the back and forth that usually comes with managing money together. Monarch Money also makes it easier to save for bigger goals. For one, the app includes tools to set and track long-term financial goals, whether that's building an emergency fund or saving for a major purchase. Monarch Money has the tools to do so easily. So if you want to make your household finances easier to manage, be sure to use the link in the description to get the best deal without breaking the bank. These days, it's hard to find an app without some form of AI, and Monarch Money is no exception. Here, the AI lets you interact with your finances in a more conversational way. For example, you can ask how much you spent in a category or how your monthly budget is doing using simple language. It's a useful feature for quick insights, but it's not a replacement for proper financial planning. So far, my Monarch Money app review shows that it's arguably one of the best budgeting apps out there. But is Monarch Money safe enough to trust with your financial data? The good news is yes. Monarch Money follows strong industry standard security practices used by many modern fintech apps. It doesn't store your banking credentials or even your real name. Instead, connections are handled through trusted third-party providers like Plaid and Finicity, where your login details are tokenized. In simple terms, Monarch Money can access your data securely without ever seeing your passwords. On top of that, all data is encrypted both in transit and at rest, which is exactly what you'd expect from a platform handling sensitive financial information. Your privacy with Monarch Money is also protected. Since the service is funded by subscriptions, there's no need for ads or selling user data. These practices are backed by their privacy policy and SOC 2 certification, meaning the platform has been independently evaluated against strict security standards. At this point, you might also be wondering about the Monarch Money AI assistant and whether it's handled responsibly. After all, nowadays, it's easy to slap an AI onto any tech product and call it a day without any regard for security. Luckily, Monarch Money takes this seriously and has implemented numerous precautions to minimize risk. In short, the AI uses minimal data, doesn't store your information, and none of your data is used to train the models. That said, since this is a financial app, security is still partly your responsibility. So make sure to use a strong password and enable two-factor authentication to keep your account protected. And if this is the level of security you expect from a top quality budgeting app, you can use the link below to get Monarch Money at the best possible price. Alright, this wouldn't be a fair Monarch review without mentioning a few drawbacks. First, there's no free version if you want to maximize your savings wanting full access. However, there is a 7-day free trial so you can test if it's the best budgeting app for you. Secondly, Monarch Money has limited investment integrations, especially for advanced traders and crypto users. You can connect platforms like Coinbase, but the options are still somewhat limited. And third, Monarch Money doesn't have any advanced tax tools or calculators that would make it easier to file everything once tax season rolls around. So, is Monarch Money worth it? Overall, I think it's an excellent all-in-one financial app that makes budgeting for beginners simple and intuitive. While you could argue that paying for a budgeting app feels counterproductive, the benefits Monarch Money provides make it worth the cost. That's it for this Monarch Money review. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more explainers like this. Catch you later.